Last year, I remember seeing a leak for Oblivion Remastered. It was nothing more than words on a spreadsheet though, and it was easily dismissed and forgotten by many, including myself. Cue a couple of weeks ago. My friend texts me and asks if I've seen any of the latest rumors and leaks on the remake. It's not something I followed closely since the spreadsheet incident due to skepticism purposes, so I told him no, I haven't. He said they were getting juicier and more believable, and he finished by remarking how he'll finally try the Elder Scrolls 4 for the first time. Again though, I wasn't holding my breath, as it wasn't something I was following super closely. Finally, on April 21st, 2025, I received an email from Bethesda. It featured this image and told me to tune in at 11 AM. I was finally able to let my excitement out. One of my favorite games of all time, a title that single-handedly built this channel, was being remastered. As of right now, the Bethesda special broadcast event ended just a few hours ago, and we received a ton of information. I know I'm just another guy talking about the already highly discussed Oblivion remake. However, it isn't really something I've touched upon yet, and other than screenshots, this is the only source of information I've seen for it. I don't know if my opinions will be new, but my perspective is fresh, and I'm going to give my honest opinion on what we've seen here today. If that's something that interests you, then let's dive in. The broadcast began with an amazing cinematic of the hero of Kvatch. Playing in the background was original audio from the game, and it really tugged at the heartstrings.
You hold our future in your hands.
It hit me with a wave of nostalgia that I honestly haven't felt in a while, and I'm booting up Oblivion practically on the daily. A lot of the live streams surrounded interviews with employees, their memories with the game, and what this project means to them. It's all really endearing and honestly very relatable. Todd Howard even drops that they're currently working on the Elder Scrolls 6, which of course isn't news to anyone. However, the real reveal comes about a quarter of the way through the video. We get to see before and after shots of the updated graphics, and honestly, they look stunning. It literally looks like some of the best graphics mods were applied to the base game, and it's practically unrecognizable. If you showed me footage of dungeons, forests, caves, etc., I probably wouldn't have been able to guess that it was Oblivion. Virtuous is the team who headlined the reproductions, and honestly, I have to say they did an amazing job. It really seems like, at least from this video, that they put a lot of care and thought into rebuilding the world of Cyrodiil. During one of the scenes showing off the Deadlands, we actually get to hear an unfamiliar voice.
About time someone got here.
It's an NPC in the game, it's a dark elf, but it's not one of the 5 voice actors that were originally hired. In fact, it's one of the VAs from Skyrim. Bethesda reveals that each race and each sex actually has their own voice actors now. So, Nord and Orcs are different, all the Mer are different, female Bretons and Imperials are different, Khajiits and Argonians are different. To me, that was really surprising, yet very welcoming. I personally want this game to have the bones of original Oblivion, but an all-new look, feel, and emotion to it, and diversifying the voice actors is a great start. Now, while the scenery, buildings, forests, nature, and even non-humanoid NPCs look beautiful, the faces of the humanoid NPCs look a little strange. Maybe it's the way their expressions come across, or their emotions, or perhaps even their mouths, but something seems off. Maybe it's just something that I personally have to get used to though. Moving on, Bethesda says that the remastered comes with all of the expansions, Knights of the Nine, Shivering Isles, and they even show off the minor plugins like the Wizard's Tower. I figured that was going to be the case, but I'm incredibly pleased that it was confirmed. The next thing Virtuous talks about is Oblivion's lighting and shadows. With Unreal Engine 5, they're able to have the light dynamically interact with the environment, a feature that did exist in the original game, but not to this extent. Again, I cannot stress how different the graphics and visuals look, as they should. Of course, it's an update, but it just feels surreal to see Oblivion like this. The game where you could originally count all of the pixels on each individual stone now looks like it could win an Oscar. They talk about the lip sync technology and how cutting edge it is. Again, to me though, it looks a little strange, but I'll give it a chance and then get used to it. Perhaps one of the biggest changes is a rework of the UI. The menus all look sleek, updated, and modernized while keeping that original minimalistic feel. I'm here for it and have no complaints. The next thing they talked about was updates to the gameplay. they mentioned a change to the player's leveling. It's apparently now a blend of Skyrim and Oblivion's. I'm guessing that means you can force a level increase without sleeping in a bed now, which, I'll be honest, isn't something that I felt strongly about to begin with. The next shot they show looks like the attributes menu, and they're throwing something called virtues into them. There's 7 virtue points, and I'm not quite sure how that whole mechanic works. Maybe it's something more akin to like what we've seen in Fallout 3 and New Vegas with the special points. Next, we see red dots on the compass symbolizing enemies. We now get to see enemy movements and locations, whereas before, we were left in the dark. Combat now has updated sound effects, animations, and visual effects that we didn't quite have before. They specifically call out sparks, hit reactions, and separation of lower and upper body movements. This is pretty interesting, and again, adds to that whole new feel that they're trying to bring to Oblivion. Throughout the whole video, a common theme is that Bethesda and Virtuous say that they want to enhance what was already there, like giving it a new paint job or adding all of the bells and whistles, and to be honest, they did a really great job. One of my biggest thank yous that I had here was the addition of the crosshair in third person mode. This was one of the sole reasons as to why I never liked using bows, staves, or spells from the third person perspective, as I had no clue where I was firing them off at. Now that seems to be a problem that's in the past. Something that I know a lot of people will be happy to hear is that Bethesda said they made sure to keep in the quirkier dialogue. That means the darker, stranger, and wackier lines that we all know and remember are still in. So what I've gathered from that is that there isn't much in the way of censorship. Now, one of the biggest things that perked my ears right up and made me shout another thank you was the addition of sprinting. I cannot stand being slow in these games, and I welcome a sprint feature with open arms. That being said, what happens with the speed attribute is to be seen. Does it get accommodated for? Does it become obsolete? I have no clue. I'd hope that maybe they just make it where your character runs and sprints faster the higher your speed attribute is. I'd have to assume that's the case, or else they're just shooting themselves in the foot. They even specifically mentioned that they're purists and wanted the game to remain how it once was, but knew that in 2025 you need a sprint feature. So I'm sure they have it covered, however, time will only tell when I actually get around to playing it. They then talk about how all of the minigames, like lockpicking and persuasion, still run the same. They just have a different look to them, which is completely fine by me. I figured that would be the case. I really didn't think they'd be taking them out or adding in anything new, just kind of updating them with the new UI. The rest of the conference shows off more stunning visuals and has the employees talk about their feelings and thoughts toward the remaster, something that I highly recommend you go and see for yourself. You can truly see that there was a lot of emotion and passion put into this project, and it's something that makes me even more excited for it. Now, the very last part of the broadcast itself, just before they show off what is the quote-unquote official trailer, is the biggest bomb drop. The game, Elder Scrolls 4 Remastered, is out now, literally as you're watching this video. I let out a huge yelp when I heard that and cleared my schedule for the next few days. This game is going to be amazing. I went over to Steam and purchased it right away. It's currently downloading as we're speaking. The game cost me around $75 Canadian, which was a little disheartening, but not unexpected. And the download ended up being almost 120 gigabytes, which isn't that crazy by today's standards, but considering the original is like 4 gigabytes, it was just funny to think about. To be honest with you, I wanted to be harsh on this reveal. I wanted to be critical and I wanted to give it my all in terms of picking things apart. But other than some goofy looking faces, which is something we're all used to anyways in this game, I'm thrilled to the moon with what I saw. I couldn't be more excited. The visuals are breathtaking. There's new voice acting. The combat is altered. There's additional conveniences that will make our time more enjoyable. It seems like they didn't just fix what was broken or missing in the original, but added and altered things that I never thought I would have wanted to see in the title. We get the same stories, just in an updated universe. I cannot tell you how many comments I get with people saying they want to play Oblivion, but they just can't get over the graphics. Well, now, there's no excuses. This seems like a huge W that the Elder Scrolls fans have needed and deserved for so long. It's going to bring so many people back into the community and will even bring on new ones, like that friend I was telling you about. I honestly thought that my adventure in the remake was going to be brief, maybe a little tour around Cyrodiil and a quest here and there for comparison. but looking at it now, there's so much more to explore and discover than what I had originally thought. I look forward to churning out new content in a brand new Cyrodiil, and I look forward to adventuring with all of you in the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered.
And close shut the jaws of Oblivion.